All right, come on, down the stairs. Wait a second, please.
So when I leave upstairs to take Poppy for a walk, it's like I'm going through various stages of emerging into more and more public space until finally I'm in the street. The road goes with the house, says Bachelard. Each one of us, then, should speak of his roads, his crossroads, his roadside benches. Each one of us should make a surveyor's map of his lost fields and meadows.
Drop that. Poppy, drop it.
It is by walking that we know our home territory. Walking creates intimacy and turns space into place.
Drop it. Good girl.
When I take Poppy for a walk, there is no destination beyond the eventual return home. We always walk in some kind of circle, and, like a sitcom, we end nowhere different from where we started. But along the way, we encounter places where small events have happened, and we make small new memories. This route I take with Poppy, which varies whimsically, is dotted with places at which things have happened. The place where Poppy broke the lead and chased a cat, the stinky drainage hole that Poppy loves, the houses that are interesting to Poppy because other dogs live there. We walk away from home in order to go back home. In the process of the walk, we create personal mythologies about the neighbourhood, says Sato. I'll tell you some of mine. I live in the 2006 Commonwealth Games village. I and my neighbours have bootstrapped our community out of nothing in the space of 18 months. I know most of my neighbours. We have local characters, like the blind guy up the road who stands on the roadside calling for his taxi every morning, as if he thinks calling for it will maybe make it come faster. We have a local family who have domestic arguments every second weekend. The police are often there. We've already been through several households with loud, drug-fuelled weekend-long parties. I take Poppy on playdates to another doggy house, and there are rumours about kept women in one house on our street. They are very mysterious. We don't think they speak English. We also have a neighbourhood association who are very active, and I'll have more to say about them. My street is very neat and regular because it was built as a housing estate. Some people like the standardisation, some hate it. But even if we live in standardised houses, the people aren't standardised. We are very multicultural in the Commonwealth Games village, now known as Parkville Gardens. We also have some poorer people among us, because there is some state subsidised accommodation. A huge aged care home is currently being constructed. Probably the best thing about my neighbourhood is its proximity to Royal Park. Poppy loves this pond. She would spend all day swimming in it if I let her. Of course, I've got to be a bit careful because she's not actually allowed here, and sometimes bird watchers appear out of nowhere and tell me off. This pond has only been here 2 years, and now they want to rip it out to make way for the new east-west tunnel. The tunnel will help cars and the people in the cars go from Sunshine to Ringwood and vice versa. Nobody actually wants to
Come
go
on,
from
out of there,
Sunshine to
please.
Ringwood, as
Come
far
on.
as we can tell, but that doesn't seem to matter. Nor does it seem to matter that the tunnel will increase car use, increase carbon emissions, and lead to further degradation of the environment. Environmental problems are always someone else's problems, aren't they? When it comes to business and economics, anyway. Simon Dolby exhorts us. The widespread cultural assumptions that we are here in a specific place on Earth has to be exposed for the powerful political illusion that it has so long been. We are not on Earth, we are Earth. We are not here, safe in our cities. We are interconnected through a complex web of economic activities and communications, which are also ecological actions, to remote supplies of resources, as well as to distant factories, which have complex consequences in a way that ensures our actions here are inevitably also actions there. Dolby is more or less expressing the Greens party attitude to the proposed tunnel. The Greens ask us to consider not just the quality of life in our neighbourhood, but the planet and the future for all of us. Many of us in Parkville Gardens are more parochial. We just don't want the tunnel in our own back pond. Actually, to be fair, the plan is to rip up the pond, build the tunnel, then put the pond back. They'll be doing the same to quite a bit of the local area. The Chinese aged person's home on the other side of the pond will presumably not be so lucky.
This would be about 3 times as expensive as that East Link freeway that they just opened out in the east-west, the Mitchell-Frankston freeway. But there's no way it will be a self-funding project. It would need massive injection of public, state and federal money into it.
When we bought in, the majority of us bought in because of the green plan that was offered to the state and
This is Yvonne. She's the leader of the Parkville Gardens Residents Association. We are at a community meeting about the tunnel. Up on stage is our local Greens MLC. His name is Greg Barber. Yvonne is very active. About 2 months ago, Yvonne and the other committee members sent out their first Parkville Gardens newsletter. The major item was an exhortation to every household to keep their front gardens neat. At the social event held in April, fear and trembling over the state of the neighbours' front gardens was a hot topic. Most of the offenders are renters. The Parkville Gardens Residents Association hates renters. Not only are they poor gardeners, but they tend to have loud parties. I'm not sure that I'm going to continue in the association. However, I do agree with Yvonne about the tunnel. And she has such passion and energy. Energy is always admirable.